This session was recorded live on Facebook.
So many mediums coming through are convinced that reincarnation is real. And I continue to get questions about this. And for that reason, I am going to spend some more time on this question again today. I made notes. I made some bullet points this time because I want to try to make sure I cover this as thoroughly as I can today. And for those of you who don't know, I do already have a video on reincarnation that's pretty thorough, goes into quite a lot of explanation about why we believe in it and the fact that it is a myth. But I've discovered that there's still yet more that is begging to be answered on this question. So what I want to say to you is, if you are in touch with a medium and they are telling you that reincarnation is real and they're talking about past lives and all that, they are not communicating with any spirit above the second sphere at the most. But chances are very high that they are communicating with spirits in the earth sphere only. And what that means is those souls know about as much there on the other side of the veil as they knew when they were here. They have not progressed much. And if you cross over with the belief in reincarnation, you still have that belief when you cross over, and you will find yourself in the company of all the souls who believe exactly like you do. So you are all reinforcing that belief for each other, and you're so sure it's true. It's not. Jesus told us time and again, as did several other souls who came through Paget, that reincarnation is a myth. And these include some very ancient souls. Ancient, again, in times of history has been lost. Zoroasters and so on, who have told us no one has ever reincarnated. We know this at least partially because anytime you seek out a medium and you want to talk to somebody on the other side, they're available, because no, they haven't incarnated again. I want to share with you 3 sentences from John the Beloved from the Paget Messages, a message dated the 16th of October, 1915. The first 2 sentences were together in a paragraph, and then the third one was elsewhere in the message. It's quite a long message. It's a lovely message. I highly recommend. But it's sort of related to this topic, and I want to cover it. Just read these to you now, and then I'm going to go into those bullet points I mentioned. John tells us, and he's talking to Paget, because Paget's doubting his soul condition, which you would imagine he would. He's doubting all of this. Is this really happening to him? And John's trying to reassure him, but he's saying, even the spirits who are in portions of the celestial heavens, that means that they're Christed, they're at one with God, they live up in the kingdom of God, they're past the 6th sphere, they're past the 7th sphere. These are very high spirits. Even the spirits who are in portions of the celestial heavens will not have the great truths presented to them as will you, and they are seeking these truths in great earnestness. But you are in a position that they are not, to make known to the world these great truths. This is 2 sentences that I've just read to you out of a book this thick of the Paget Messages. These messages are so rich with amazing information that has really, truly not been fully farmed. I highly recommend reading these messages. We have what we would refer to as angels who were not presented with the information that is available to us in the Paget Messages. Why? Because Paget could get it through to humankind, and that's what God wants, and that's what Jesus wanted, and that's the mission, and that's Jesus' second coming. So go for it. And the thing that amazes me is these are angels who are seeking these truths in great earnestness. So it must still requires effort. Can you imagine? It's a journey. We're never going to get there. Oh my goodness. All right. So here I'm going to come up with my, my bullet points on reincarnation. There are several reasons why it's such a popular belief. One of them is almost all of us can sense that there's got to be more than this, right? And not just go straight to heaven. You can see the variations in people. You know, some people come into a beautiful circumstance. Some people come into a terrible circumstance. Some people come in with all kinds of gifts and intelligence and wisdom, and other people come in with fewer. And you will look at all of this and you say, what's going on? And some people seem like old souls and some people seem like new souls. And all of that is observable. So it's clearly real. And you look at that and of course you're going to say to yourself, well, this doesn't make sense. How is it fair? There's got to be more than this. Well, the observations are true. The conclusion is false. So every soul is equally worthy. Every soul is of equal value. Every soul is equally beloved of God. We were not created the same. So yes, some people do come in with different gift sets for different purposes that only God can truly know, but we can imagine make up the tapestry that is the beautiful creation of all life. We can see that the teeny tiniest honeybee has tremendous value and makes a complex, sweet nectar that is so beneficial in multiple ways. And we can see that tiny seed, this little itty bitty sphere the size of a pencil dot that turns into a poppy that is not only beautiful, but might have the power to heal or harm. I mean, it's just so complex. It would be mind-blowing if we tried to understand it. So, yes, some people come in with more and some people come in with different. I'm not going to even say less. Maybe I shouldn't say more, but certainly we're not the same. In terms of the old soul versus the young soul, I was always, considered like an old soul. I think the people who seem like old souls have a lot of psychic ability. And they seem like they're old souls because they're being fed constantly information from souls who are from all levels of soul development and all levels of, or I should say periods of time. I've always had a sense for historical truth, probably because I had somebody sitting on my shoulder who lived in whatever time period I was exploring. So I think old souls have a lot of psychic ability, and that's why they seem like old souls. Past life memories, similar concept. I had past life memories. They were real. They were real past life memories. They just weren't mine. They were being imprinted on me by souls who were at that moment in my sphere of influence. I was being influenced by them. We attract to us souls based on our current point of attraction, which fluctuates continuously. And if we want to protect ourselves from souls who are of a lower development than what we may desire, then it behooves us to seek God's love through prayer and spiritual study. The other thing about this is when the souls, remember, the soul, pre-incarnate soul has existed potentially for eons and is possibly aware of what is happening in incarnate souls, but they certainly know that in order for them to individuate from their soulmate and for them to begin to create, to actually create and become a creator as they were designed to do by making choices, every thought, word, and deed creates. That's how we do it. They are eager to get started. And because they've been basking in the glow of God's beautiful love, they know that they cannot go wrong. They know they are destined for paradise. And they don't even care at that point whether it's going to be natural love or divine love. That's just beyond them, because they know that paradise is theirs based on their own choices, whether it's a natural love paradise or a divine paradise that goes on for eternity. They know it's their option and they're eager to get started. So they basically are just telling God, throw me into anybody, I'm ready to go. And they also know that even if they were to live a terrible life of degradation and poverty and abuse, that in the course of eternity, it's not even a blink. And we have heard from ancient souls in the pageant messages, even those on the natural love path, not yet in the celestial realm, that they are so happy in the spirit realm, they've forgotten all about the pain and suffering that they experienced on earth. So it feels terrible when you're going through it, but it's like the Band-Aid getting ripped off. It's so fast. And because you can progress and do in the spirit realm, there's no reason in the world for you to ever come back to planet Earth and take on an animal body again. There's very little for us to really learn here. You're basically just learning good from evil, love from lack of love, to get you started in the spirit realm. And from there, you can progress for as long as you need to progress in eternity. And as we know that every soul who ever incarnated is still in the spirit realm, alive and well, it may as well be forever, right? So there's just no reason to come back to earth. The same sins, rape, murder, incest, thievery, whatever, lying, it's all the same today as it's ever been. There's nothing really new to learn here, and you would risk coming in maybe to a situation where you would degrade. Besides that, do you want to come back? And this is where I read that third sentence that I mentioned. Okay. Same message. We're still coming from John the Beloved, October 16, 1915. And he says, faith makes all the longings and aspirations of the soul realities. So if you want to believe in reincarnation, you're going to create it for yourself. And here's how. And this is an answer to that I finally got to this question, because my question was, why on earth are so many spirits still believing in it? Why haven't they figured out when they cross into the world of spirit that reincarnation isn't real? That didn't make sense to me, but I kept praying about it and kept going into my discernment process and my soul perceptions and whatever, and I finally got an answer, and it goes like this. So many souls believe in reincarnation, they've sort of created a whole separate sphere on the other side where they go down. They believe they're incarnating back onto earth, but they're actually not. They're still in the spirit realm. And God allows this. Why? Because He created you to be a creator, and these people want to reincarnate. So that's what they're doing. So my question, they're not really coming back to earth. They're not really coming back into mortal bodies, but they're thinking they are, and they've got all kinds of people joining them in this. Is this your crowd? Not my crowd. I'm never coming back. I'll tell you that. I don't want to come back. And my thing is, while we're told in the messages that that's not a hazardous belief because it doesn't prevent you from receiving divine love, well, maybe, but I look at it and I say, I think it will slow down your progress, because if you're waiting around to reincarnate, you're not focused on progressing in the spirit realm, which is the only place you can progress from. And that's the word of Jesus. And Yogananda has come back through. Al Feiken told us that, Yogananda, and others who believed in reincarnation when they were mortal, who have ascended above and beyond the second sphere. Like I said, that belief dies with the second sphere. So if any medium is telling you that reincarnation is a thing, you're looking at lower spheres. That's your choice. Okay.